What's up guys, JayFerGaming here and welcome to my review of the Spanish Grand Prix, which was on about 5 hours ago. It begun and it was another Mercedes domination. So 2014, the season, I was really looking forward to it. 5 rounds into the season and it's been a disappointment in my opinion. Obviously Bahrain was a really good race and the conclusion to today's race was pretty good, but the rest has been boring in my opinion. And yeah, just to say the least, it's just really annoying when only 2 drivers can win a race. I suppose the racing between the 2 drivers has been pretty good, Hamilton and Rosberg. They really should be getting a 1-2 every single race. Mercedes don't win a race, it'll be because they've crashed into each other or a bit of reliability. But there's been no reliability issues this season really, barely any retirements in any of the races. Apart from Australia, I think they were about 6 or 7. But yeah, from the start, at the front it was pretty even. Hamilton and Rosberg. Hamilton got quite far ahead after about turn 3. Just behind them, Bottas was overtaken by... No, he wasn't. Bottas overtook Ricciardo because the 2 Williams had a great start. Massa as well from 9th. Oh, got a better getaway than Alonso, which is really surprising because Alonso, I think the last 2 years, has got a beast of a start. And he did well in the first turn to get past Massa. I think he got boxed out behind a couple of drivers because Massa could have been up in the top 5 after the first couple of corners if he played it right. And because Raikkonen out-qualified Alonso, which was a bit of a surprise. Looks like he's getting into the groove a bit, but obviously the Mercedes were running away with it at the front, followed by Bottas, who was ahead of Ricciardo. Ricciardo had the pace to go quite a lot faster and could have been quite close behind the Mercedes up front. Everyone got around cleanly the first few laps, which was good to see. I think I saw Marussia trying to overtake a Sauber as well. I think it was Bianchi on Sutil. That was pretty insane to see, because the Marussias are actually getting closer to the Saubers, which in a way I'd really like to see that, because Marussia and Caterham have been in the sport for about, is it 4 years now? No points, and they rarely beat like the Saubers, the Toro Rossos, and they need to start doing it. With Caterham's team owner threatening to sell the team because they're not doing too well. But it was a pretty strategic race for 3/4 of the race. Hamilton went for option prime and Rosberg for prime option. So it was a bit of a stalemate up to a point. Rosberg was about 4 seconds behind Hamilton up until the final pit stop. And then Hamilton onto the primes. I think he took a lot of life, especially out of the front left, and Rosberg was closing in just little bits every lap. And by the end, he was less than a second behind. He was actually really close. He didn't really have a move, and especially on the last lap when the camera went on to Rosberg's girlfriend, when it was effectively Rosberg's last attempt to overtake Hamilton. What are they doing there? But it was a good race at the end. There were a few battles. Hamilton, Rosberg, the 2 Ferraris, and who was the other one? I think it was Vettel and Bottas, that's the one. Because Vettel started 15th and had an unbelievable race. But I'll sum up each driver right now because I pretty much talked about all the big events. There weren't too many once again, because it was a disappointing race with 75% of it. So I've talked about Hamilton and Rosberg, we all know what happened there. And Rosberg is getting a beating from Hamilton. That's 4 wins in a row for Hamilton. And yeah, Hamilton is the quicker driver, but I think Rosberg will still win the championship due to consistency. But I think it's going to be because Hamilton retires or something, because Rosberg is struggling at the moment and you can tell he's getting frustrated. But I think Monaco's a Rosberg track. He's done well there lately. He's got a win there. I'm not sure if he's got 2. He's definitely got 1, and I think he'll be up there. Ricciardo, what a guy this guy is. What a driver. But 50 seconds off the lead. The speed difference is just far too much. I don't know how Mercedes have done it. 50 seconds over a race distance over the next car, and it's the Red Bull who've been the dominant force over the last few years. But yeah, Ricciardo was really good. He would have been closer if he'd got past Bottas earlier, but he got the undercut because Williams messed up the strategy with both cars today, which is a shame. But it would have been good to see them up there because Bottas dropped to 5th because Vettel overtook him near the end. That was a good battle to see, and it was an intense moment. Like 3 cars chasing other cars down. It was good to see. Vettel, he had great pace. He pulled off some great overtakes, especially down into turn 10 after the DRS zone. I think he just thought to himself, what the hell, I've got nothing to lose. I'm not going to win the championship this season, so might as well put on a bit of a show and get some points. And he did really well. It was a great fight back from a poor qualifying, though. It wasn't his fault. But in a way, it's good to see Vettel do that because he's not the most popular driver out there, but he's shown what he can do, and he's a really good driver. Bottas, I think his strategy messed him up today. He did kind of a late, I think they were originally going to put him on a 3-stop, but it was a late change to a 2-stop, so it was on his first stint he went quite a bit longer than Ricciardo, and Ricciardo got the undercut and just drove away from him. 6th and 7th, the 2 Ferraris. I expected Alonso to get on the podium, but Ferrari just didn't have the pace. They were fighting each other throughout the race. I'm pretty sure Alonso was faster than Raikkonen all weekend, but once again, Alonso just can't qualify very well. That's his downfall. But Raikkonen, it's good to see him being more competitive because he struggled in the first 4 races, and I really wanted to see these 2 battle because it's a great lineup and they should be doing a lot better. It's a shame the Ferrari is not a quick car. And Grosjean in 8th. What a comeback from a terrible start of the season. He deserves a good car. He's a great driver, and 5th place, beating the 2 Ferraris in qualifying. That was a great effort. And in the race, he seemed to lack straight line speed in the second stint when both Ferraris easily overtook him, but he did well to keep the Force Indias behind him. 9th and 10th. Catalonia is not really a Force India track. Loads of corners, fast corners, slow corners. I don't think they suit the car, but they got 3 points from it. And Perez beat Hülkenberg, which is a little bit of a surprise. Hülkenberg's been right up there this season. Next is the 2 McLarens out of the points again. So since Australia, they've barely scored any points. They're really struggling. I expected them to be right up there, especially with the Mercedes engine. But I'm not sure what's going on. Button had a really bad start. I think he dropped 4 or 5 positions, but he fought back. Magnussen just was anonymous, really. You saw him side by side with Button on the first lap, pushed him wide, and I think he had a little bit of contact with Vettel earlier on. And we know what happened in the final standings, so they're really struggling. I did not expect that whatsoever. And then Massa, his strategy, 3 stoppers. I don't know how he ended up so far down the field. He got a great start, but after that, he was really fighting for the minor points, so it's strange to see him down there. Other finishers, Kvyat, Maldonado finished the race. That's an achievement. Jeez. What a guy. Just to think he won the race 2 years ago. Unbelievable. Then Gutierrez, Sutil, the Sabra has no pace whatsoever. The Marussias, and then Ericsson. I think it's safe to say Marussia have the edge over Caterham, with Kobayashi and Verne the only 2 not to finish. So, a bit of a dull race until the last 15 laps, I'd say. So yeah, that's my review of the Spanish Grand Prix. Hopefully Monaco's better. I love the Monaco Grand Prix, and my tip for that one's going to be Rosberg, so catch you then. Goodbye.